is a short run again. My favorite trainer.
We are here in the town of Serrata. We're just outside the town of Serrata. This is workout number 5 here in the country of Bolivia. Nice, gentle, easy recovery run. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Check this out. This tiny little cat. You see him? Oh, beautiful. So right up there in the distance, that is the town of Serrata, and then up there, that peak, that is the Yampu, that mountain that we saw the last time we were working our way down into this valley. We're going to come in and we're actually going to explore
5.51.
Okay guys, this run is going to be perfect representation of the area. So we've seen the pods, we've seen some of the areas outside of the pods, we've seen Death Road. This is going to be our first introduction to real life in Bolivia. So, Serrata, spelled S-O-R-A-T-A. Serrata is actually a Spanish adulteration of Aymara word. So remember, Aymara is a specific indigenous tribe that once lived in this area and now continues to live in the towns and the little settlements. Serrata is the Spanish version. We got pigs. We got these little pigs. It's the Spanish version of right there. We got a guard dog. We got chickens. So the Spanish version is Sorata, rather. And this comes from the word shuru ata in Aymara. Shuru ata, which means the glistening peak or the shining peak. And that's in reference to that mountain right up there, Mount Yampu. Remember guys, the Yampu, Iya means the beginning of, and Yampu means the earth. So there's a belief this is where there was a beginning, or the source of the earth. And then Shuruata, and Aymara is the shining peak, and then the Spanish adulterated version of that Aymara term is now Sorata. So we're going to work our way along this road. We got a lot of vehicles coming in. This is one of the main corridors to access all the other villages further down. Before there was a road put in from La Paz to go to the Yungas Valley. The Yungas Valley is what we explored on the Death Road. Vehicles used to make their way through this way. So we're at a lower elevation than the last time I saw you. And we worked our way down into this valley. And it's still high. So these little inclines, just a bit taxing. We're going to keep the intensity light. No more than 4 out of 10 on that RPE. Rate of pursuit exertion is no more than 75% of our max heartbeat. That's our target. For me, that's right around
-2.
140.
Thank God.
Guys, we're going to go right down into the heart of Sorata. So, before we get there, I want to give you guys a little bit of context because this didn't come at us fast. This is an area that has had important significance throughout hundreds and even thousands of years. So a little bit about the Incan Empire. We won't get too much into it on this run, but one of the very last Incan emperors was a man named Tupac Amaru. Tupac Amaru. Tupac Amaru was murdered. He was killed in his attempt to fight the Spanish colonizers. And if that name sounds familiar, Tupac, based off of a rap legend that lived in the United States, that's because that name is the name Tupac gave himself in honor of or after Tupac Amaru, so one of the last Incan emperors. So the nephew, Tupac Amaru, he led a revolt against the Spanish in this exact town, this exact valley. And the way that he did that, he had troops, 16,000 troops. And they established themselves up high on the mountain above the mountain of Yampu, and they set up a system of dikes and barriers where the water that was melting off of Mount Yampu came down and was captured in these retaining pools. And once it spilled up in all these different retaining pools where they had enough water, at the same time they released the water from all of these pools, that water washed down and it created a combination of just the water flow from these lakes that were emptying, as well as mud and rock. And it came down and it literally wiped out the entire city. Just washed the city off of the side of this mountain. So
-1.
it was a win for the Incans at the time, but eventually the Spanish came back and rooted out the remnants of that Incan Empire. This is an area, lots of history. So if we fast forward, Spanish occupation, Spanish colonization, one of the major sources of income for the Spanish, one of the things that helped make the Spanish Empire so wealthy, was silver that was found in Bolivia, specifically in these mountains. And so this road right here, it gives access to lots of different mines up and down the valley. Silver mines, tin mines, even gold mines. Less gold than silver, but still. So this is an area where the people here, largely Aymara, most of them speak Aymara. The people here have worked very, very hard for hundreds of years. Finally, they're working for themselves. So rather than having this impressive imperial colonizers to come in and essentially take everything that's earned, the people are actually able to use mining as a way to actually support their local income. So back in the early 2000s, the president at the time of Bolivia, he put out a tax on the people working in the mines. It was the first tax that had been imposed on the people. And what the people did here in Serrata, they actually shut down the road so that people could not come in and essentially shut down the importation and exportation of any of those resources through mining. They were upset because the president, he had these neoliberal ideas, at least relatively compared to what was going on previously. And what he wanted to do is he wanted to send those resources from mining through Chile. Remember, Chile is the country that's to the west. He wanted to export them through Chile and then eventually out further to other countries through maritime commerce, through boats essentially. And this is something that upset a lot of the people in Bolivia, because although it was over 100 years ago, they were still sore over the War of the Pacific that took place. It was a period where Bolivia lost over 400 miles of coastline, a Pacific coastline,
I'm gonna put that
to
flat.
the country of
My
Chile.
heart
So
rate
even though it's 100 years later,
is high.
those scars are still raw, and the people wouldn't support the president, essentially building up the Chilean economy by sending resources from Bolivia that direction. So they shut down the road, didn't allow it to happen. And then another
Too high.
really interesting thing happened, guys. In early 2000s, 2001, there was a day where a large group of people here in Sorata had actually kidnapped and took hostage 100 tourists who were here in Sorata. They held them captive, held them hostage in an attempt to get the attention of the government so that they could have the rights that they felt they deserved in terms of not being taxed off of the money that was made from the resources that were being mined. So that took place just recently. Because of that, this has had an effect, obviously, on this area as a hotbed for tourism. So people always come here. They use this essentially as a base camp to climb up the taller peaks. But when that happened, when 100 tourists were taken hostage and kidnapped, this is something that, understandably enough, caused a downturn in the economy. Let's check this out. Let's just take a chance to look at this view. That soccer field down below, and then off in the distance, you can see the different layers of the different mountain ranges. They're separated based off of the smoke. So there's a lot of smoke right now in the area. Guys, so a lot of this smoke. You can see this smoke this time of year. This is a process that takes place because of just the different agricultural practices in the valley. So they use it to burn old lawn clippings, as well as prepare the land for new crops that they're going to set up. Also do this when they have livestock, because what it does is it burns off the dry grasses, and then it allows the new grasses to come up underneath. And a lot of times the llamas, the alpacas, they prefer to eat the green grass rather than the dry grass. Okay, we're going to keep climbing up into the town of Sorata. One thing that we're going to find when we get there is specifically an influence
Two.
from...
I put it at 2.
Hold on. Go again. Giving us a little bit of encouragement. So we'll find influences from that Aymara culture. Other thing we're going to find is a bunch of really rad restored 4x4s from the 70s and 80s. So lots of these old Land Cruisers that have been restored, and they're used as taxis, they're used just for work. Really fun stuff. Guys, so when we get in close, you'll be able to notice the way, specifically the way that the women here dress. The women here that dress in the traditional attire, big skirts that are exaggerated out to accentuate a really wide face, I guess you could say. And then the glasses up top, and then the bowler hats on their heads, and then the traditional Andean textiles, these blankets that they wear around their shoulders to carry their children, to carry basically anything they're trying to transport. This, guys, is a combination of Spanish influences and then indigenous influences. The brightly colored blankets, this is something that's traditional Andean culture. The dresses that they wear with the huge accentuated hips, you'll see this is essentially cloth, sometimes as much as 5 meters of cloth, 15 feet of cloth. It's wrapped around in layers, and then there's sometimes what's known as paja or straw is placed between the layers to have it come out as wide as possible. In the eyes of the modern men, there's nothing more attractive than a woman with a huge base. In their mind, it speaks to the ability to bear lots of children. So then what you have is a blouse up top, and then you have a bowler hat. Ta-da! The bowler hat is the small hats up on the top of their heads. These bowler hats, these came actually from England. It's believed that what took place is while they were British servicemen working on the railroad, working in the mines several hundred years ago, that there was a shipment of these bowler hats that arrived here in Bolivia, and they were the wrong size. And so what the local businessmen did was actually told the Bolivian women that this was the latest fashion in England, and eventually all of them were sold, and what it did was created this tradition. So you'll see that, guys, as we get in close. Obviously, we don't want to gawk, we want to be respectful, but you'll just be able to notice. Look at the wide
4.8
dresses, the blouses, the colorful blankets, and the little bowler hats on top. These women refer to themselves as cholas. If they're unmarried women, they refer to themselves as cholitas. This comes from the term cholo, which used to mean an indigenous man. It was at one point somewhat derogatory, but it's since been accepted, and this is what we find today. So let's just go through here slowly, guys. Let's keep that intensity light.
6,
The elevation right now
2.9.
means I gotta bring things down to a brisk hike to keep myself under 140. Here we go. Just gently moving forward.
1.5.
We're gonna go around the central plaza here
5.1.
in Serrata. We're gonna climb up a little bit through the steps, the different causeways, and then we'll work our way back down into this area. Right here off to the right, we have the church, the main church. Let's take our left right here. There we go. How cool is this? This main square is known specifically for these pines and these giant date palms that grow in the area. Alright, here we go. So people coming here, selling all different kinds of potatoes. Let's work our way up these
2.8.
steps. On this incline, guys, let's keep the intensity at light intensity. So whatever intensity you need to maintain a 4 out of 10 RPE and 140 beats per minute. Hola, hello again.
8.5.
Here we go. Hola, señor. ¿Todo bien? Alright. Let's work our way across this way. And we'll continue to zigzag our way up. And then we'll come back down as well.
-2. 5. 5.2.
So let's go down a little bit faster. So guys, you can see the colonial influence on some of these homes. Really similar to what we saw in those older regions of La Paz, as well as basically anywhere you go in the colonized
2.5.
Spanish world. From the Philippines to the Canary Islands, all very similar. Hold on. So as we mentioned before, guys, cholo was originally a derogatory term for an indigenous man.
3.5.
Man. Still get lost a little bit. So
6. 4.6.
Cholo, an indigenous man. Chola would be the wife
2.9.
of an indigenous man. And then Cholita would be an unmarried indigenous woman. So they
8.5.
refer to themselves now affectionately by this term. So it's one of those things where at once it was meant to be derogatory, and it's essentially flipped on its head and become a term of endearment. So if you were to ask, essentially talk to a woman that was dressed that way, she would refer to herself as either a chola or a cholita. Whew, guys, this incline at this elevation, seriously no joke. Let's cruise on up this way
2.5.
for just a bit, and then we'll eventually work our way back down into that main square
5.
of Serrata.
2.5.
Check this out, guys. This was the main cruiser check. Hold on. Everywhere we go, guys. Everywhere. Come check this out.
Minus
Let's
1.
get right along. Without fail, there's Coca-Cola everywhere, guys. It's literally on every single wall. You find it with giant billboards underneath the entry signs into Newtown. Absolutely everywhere. Ta-da! So, you may have heard that Coca-Cola originally, the original recipe, let's cruise down this way. The original recipe contained extract from coca leaves. Hello. Again. Hello, amigo. Again. So, the original recipe
Minus
for Coca-Cola contained extract from coca leaves. So coca leaves are the same leaves that are used after lots and lots of processes, lots of additional chemicals, isolating one specific component within a coca leaf. Cocaine is made. So cocaine, obviously, probably familiar with that, what that is. But here in the mountains, in the Andes Mountains, coca leaves are still consumed on a daily basis by almost everybody. They're either chewed or they're made into a tea, or what you'll find also in the stores, in the little shop. Hello, hello again. You'll find in the stores, in the little shops, you'll find cola, and it's actually legitimately Coca-Cola. So it's a cola beverage which is made with this coca extract. Guys, check this out, right here. So this one right here, Coca-Cola, what that is a cola drink which is made from the extract of coca leaves. So obviously it's a stimulant, but it's important to remember that cocaine is derived from one component of a coca leaf. Just to give you some context, it would take 16 pounds of coca leaves processed down to create 1 gram of cocaine. So there's lots of other properties, lots of other compounds, chemicals which are found within coca leaves that help with altitude sickness, that help with other kinds of sicknesses, and people take that and use that on a daily basis to be able to handle living at these high elevations. As we're going to go through this market, this is people's normal everyday life. So we're going to try and be respectful, not just arguing here, but let's just try to be respectful, quiet observers. But this is one of the central markets that takes place in the area, specifically on the weekends. So people come, all these different agricultural products, and they come to sell them. And this traditional attire, guys, that you see, this isn't a special occasion. They're not dressed up just for the market. This is the way the women and the young women dress on a daily basis. Alright, let's cruise through here. How cool is this, guys? Guys, you can notice there's so many different kinds of root vegetables. Here in the Andes, there are 3,800 different types of potatoes. Think about that, guys. If you live in the United States, you're probably familiar with maybe 2 or 3 kinds of potatoes. 3,800 different kinds of potatoes. Alright, so let's bring things down even a little bit more. Let's just cool down for just a little bit as we walk through here. It's been a great run, guys. We've been able to see the view of Serrata from a distance. We've been able to see the mountain in Yampu. We're able to see why this area has specifically that name, the Shining Mountain. And then we're able to come up into the community and see all of this and see what life is like for the people that still live here. So let's come over here into the Central Plaza and then we'll wrap things up. Good job, guys. Make sure we focus on recovery throughout. Let's come up here, guys. This is exactly what I was talking about. So there's 2 beautifully dressed women. You can see the ornately stitched textiles in the blankets, the wide dresses, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Just a little bit longer, we're going to work our way up and then back on the same street as the church, and we'll wrap everything up. So, as always, guys, even though this is a recovery run, it's incredibly important to continue to optimize that recovery. So focus in on whatever that recovery meal is that you're going to have when we're done. Make sure that you stay topped off on hydration. Guys, the next run that we're going to do is our long run. So this will be our long run for the week, and this will be a bit of a progressive long run. So we'll put in some higher intensity efforts, moderate intensity efforts near the end, and build throughout that entire run. Guys, just take a second to take in these views, the sights and sounds of this beautiful town of Serrata.
5. 1.5.
Very cool. Guys, great job making it all the way to the end. I'm your trainer, Tommy Rhodes, coming at you guys from the country of Bolivia. Rest up, and I'll see you guys.
4K. I'm gonna finish 1 more K. Okay. 5.5 flat. 5K. Okay. Tomorrow is gonna be a long run. With him, it's 55 minutes. With all my other programs, I supposed to run 25K, 15.5 mile. So I will see what I'm gonna do. I will see. It was good. It was very good.